What's up, everybody? Aaron with Why We Love Horror, and Aaron Unwinds back for another letter in the alphabet. We're back for the letter P, and for P, we have chosen Pontypool of 2008, directed by Bruce McDonald, starring Stephen McHattie, alongside three other people, basically, because this movie takes place in a radio station where there is slowly the realization from the DJ that a zombie outbreak is going on. It takes place in Canada, in a Canadian town called Pontypool. That's why it's called Pontypool. This movie is really, it's interesting. It's essentially like a radio play, which is why it's very smart that it takes place in a radio station. Because basically that's the ears and the voice of this entire movie. Which starts out just as Stephen McHattie's character, DJ Grant Mazzy. He's just kind of shock jock radioing it up, playing, kind of oblivious to what's going on. And it like starts to become almost like it is a War of the Worlds adaptation. Apparently this is based on a book. I didn't read the book. I didn't know it was based on a book. I thought it was just an adaptation of War of the Worlds. And I've got to imagine it's more an adaptation on that than the book it's adapting. But there's nothing really wrong with that. There's just really great characters that are only, presented through voice. Most of them, other than the four leads, there's like a really interesting dynamic between Stephen McHattie and Lisa Houle, who's been in nothing else, the radio producer, whose the name is Cindy. I think particularly they have an interesting dynamic. And then it's definitely a slow burn. It's also 90 minutes, but it's very heady. I would say this is definitely a horror movie, but at the same point, like it holds back a ton. And I think that's where the success comes in this movie. Like not showing the monster, holding it back often is the right call. Here, it is definitely the right call. Just having Stephen McHattie realize that this virus is being spread through words, in particular, like words, and this being from 2008, like kind of like the insidious nature of like social media and mass media overall, like this are always like a timeless kind of subject. And it's presented here in this 90-minute horror movie, like just really succinctly without hitting you over the head with it. I think that's a credit for the writers of the movie as well as the director. I just think all in all, they made the right choice, which was keeping the focus on Stephen McHattie. He is like so just I don't know what the word magnetic I would say is the word. You just want to kind of listen to everything he's talking about. When he's talking about nothing, you still want to just keep listening to it. So it really is just a very believable, real performance. This is just one that I had passed through quite a few times. I'm glad I finally stopped on it. As the movie kind of picks up, it loses me a little bit in the second half, if I'm being honest. Like, I think it is a movie that needed to conceal its budget throughout, and towards the end, it tries to do a little bit more than it needed to do. But still, by no means was this a bad experience for me, or one I wouldn't recommend to anybody. I think it's, for going on 2008, I haven't seen a lot of movies since this movie that have, replicated a lot of things I found interesting. So we'll go to my rating. One of these episodes will end at 420, maybe the last episode, who knows. But Pontypool is a good time. It's a really good movie. It's a movie I'd recommend to people even if they're not into horror. It's really just it's a good slow burn. So good slow burn that you should burn to. 4 leaves for me on this one. Very, very happy to report that. And we're moving on next week to Q. And there's like 4 Q movies I haven't seen. 3 of them are bad. So it left me with, I can't do Visitor Q because that has a V in front of it. Maybe I'll do it for V. Who knows? Quartermass and The Pit from 1967. Someone said Lovecraftian to me. I said, say no more. I'm in. This is supposedly one of the better Lovecraftian movies. Next week, I'll have a few things to say about that. Tune in then. Here's everything coming up on the channel. Thank you for checking out the video.